In Jeremiah 13:1, it says, "Thus said Hashem said to me, go buy yourself a linen girdle and put it on your loins, and don't put it in water." So I wanted to learn, what is a girdle in the Torah. So in Ezekiel 23:15, and in 1 Shmuel 18:4, in 2 Samuel 28, and in 1 Kings 2:5, in 2 Kings 3:21, and in Isaiah 5:27, it's to do with soldiers. Girdles belong to women in Isaiah 3:24, and belong to men in Psalms 109:19 and Isaiah 22:21. Girdles belong to prophets in 2 Kings 1:8 and Jeremiah 13:1, as I just mentioned, the quote from. It belongs to kings. Girdles belong to kings when it's in Job 12:18. They belong to mourners when it's Isaiah 3:24 or Isaiah 22:12. State officers or sacerdotal officers in Exodus 28 verse 4 and 28:39 and 28:40 and 29:9 and 39:29. And the band attached to the ephod, the apron of the Kohen Gadol, is Shemos, Exodus 28:8. The symbol of strength and power in Job 12:18, 12:21, 30:11, and in Isaiah 22:21 and 45 verse 5. Girdle is connoting righteousness and faithfulness. As it says, righteousness and faithfulness are the girdle of the Messiah in Isaiah 11 verse 5. On Wikipedia, I learned that righteousness, that girdle, in Hebrew and Yiddish, I don't know, it says gartel. Gartel is worn by men, mostly Hasidim, and I remember now, I grew up with Hasidic men who wear a gartel. Mostly they wear it in prayer. It's usually black, but it can be white. This separates the upper body and the lower body. The heart is divided from the genitals while the person says God's name. And it's about manifesting control of the lower animal instincts of the person by the distinctly human intellect. Some wear it all day as part of the regular attire. And then when we look at our body, Brittanica, it says girds or encircles the waist, either in order to continue to confine loose and flowing outer garments so as to allow freedom of movement, or to fasten or support the garments of the wearer. And then I wanted to say, in our bodies, from having studied biology and anatomy, physiology, we would say that the pelvic and shoulder girdle encircle the body with the limbs attached, and the pelvic girdle supports the weight of the upper body while sitting and transfers the weight to the lower limbs while standing. And they both protect organs. The shoulder girdle allows for a wide variety of movement. And we have 2 more topics for today. One is about anger management. Feeling versus expressing is not the same thing as expressing. Feeling does not equal expressing. Behaviors are from the inside to the outside world, and feelings are only on the inside. So whether it's a verbal or bodily behavior, whether it's expression. So when you feel something, it could be nobody knows you're feeling it, but if you express it, you're expressing it for the outside. Or you're doing it for yourself, but it has to be, you're expressing. It's like when we say milk for a mother who's breastfeeding is expressing milk, it's coming outside of her. So lashing out from anger, whether it's called abuse, invalidation, causing doubting, guilt or shame, undermining or challenging or opposing or arguing, is a reactive behavior. It is reactive itself, and it causes escalation because it provokes others to become defensive and then mirror. Under anger is fear of losing control and the grief over what happened when the person lost control in the past. For example, the person is trying to attempt to control things, but really things are out of their control, and they're feeling grieving or fear about it. And finally, I want to talk about my family. I'm working on anger management, and I'm also, in terms of all I just shared about the girdle, we could say it's like these girdles that come. We also have this family girdle. It's like a family luggage sometimes. And so I wanted to ask my mother's parents. I have a lot that I've learned about my father's family, but I didn't learn much about my mother's grandparents. So my mother's parents I know. One of them passed away, one's alive. So my grandmother's mother, Chana, had a Russian family. Her grandmother had a wig and lit Shabbos candles, and her mother and the brothers all read Hebrew and were brought up observant. Chana died when my grandmother was 27, and Chana didn't like observant Judaism. So when my grandmother Bubby means like grandmother in Yiddish, became religious, she chose her sister Mim better. When Chana got older, she went to live with Katie, her sister. She was also called Grandma Ann. So Chana was the mom, and her sister Mim, my grandmother's sister was Mim. My grandmother's mother's sister was Katie, also Ann. So my grandmother's father got divorced and remarried to just a moment. Just one moment. I'll be out in a few minutes. Okay, someone's at the door. Let me finish this video. So, my grandmother's father got divorced and remarried to Auntie Ginny. So he got divorced from Chana. He had Sephardic ancestors, but he was very white. They had they were 5 or 6 generations after the expulsion of the Spanish Jews, and he married somebody we would refer to as Ashkenaz. So the Sephardi's are usually Middle Eastern, Mizrahi. They're from the Arab countries and things like that. My grandfather's father, Yaakov Chaim. So this is my grandfather's father. My grandfather, his name is Binyamin. He passed away in my life. His father was Yaakov Chaim. And it could be that Chaim was added when he was sick. He died from kidney cancer when my grandfather got engaged to my grandmother. We call my grandfather Zaidi in Yiddish. When he asked Rabbi Yankel Gurkov to help him do Kaddish, he decided he wants to be Kaddish, you say, for your deceased relatives, your father, mother. So he decided he wants to be more observant. He offered my grandmother, Bubby, a chance to break it off, but she said no, so then she learned Hebrew, because she had gone originally to a non-Jewish school. Zaidi, my grandfather's family, spoke Yiddish, like the dog literally only spoke Yiddish. So they never watched movies or magazines, TV, radio, or read newspapers. They were only able to, they did Lubavitch turnstile records. My grandfather's 80 fasted on Mondays and Thursdays, which some very strict adherers do as a practice. And every Friday afternoon, my grandfather brought home guests for Shabbos. Eventually, they made it more mainstream because it wasn't sustainable to keep it up. Like all these stuff that they were doing, they became more mainstream in general. The Lubavitcher Rebbe of Crown Heights, the 7th one, and my Zaidi communicated by a lot of letters, and my uncle, my grandfather's son, my mother's brother, has them. My grandfather's mother lived with my mother and her parents. She looks exactly like Ruth, my aunt, my mother's sister. She passed away Yud Gimel Tammuz from pancreatic cancer, passed away very quickly. My grandfather's brother, Gottfried, was 5 years older, and his sister Bella was 10 years older. She waited 10 years to have kids and asked the Lubavitcher Rebbe for a blessing, who said she should go to the mikvah, and that night she conceived a boy whose Hebrew name was Yosef Yitzchak, English name Jonathan, and she had 2 more boys, and all got a bris. So the boy, his brother, the boy David, a girl named Jean. So Gottfried had a boy David and a girl Jean who had something wrong with her, maybe autism, and she passed. And Bella eventually passed away from stomach cancer. So there was stomach cancer, pancreatic cancer, kidney cancer, and my grandmother and my mother has survived breast cancer. My grandmother and my grandparents helped them to write the letter and took her to the mikvah when she was, mikvah's the immersion, when she wrote to the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And we'll stop here, and I would like to continue tomorrow. Sorry, actually, this video is before Shabbos, so this will be the last video before the Sabbath. This is the Shabbos of Chayesara, where this week was all about how going above and beyond in terms of generosity. So may it be that anyone we ask for help goes above and beyond what we're asking for, and that we comfort each other. We comfort each other, and Hashem, even before we finish our prayers, Hashem aligns exactly what we need, and everything is matched. And as we change, our world changes, and that we can feel the feelings of grief and fear, so we don't have anger, and that we have peace, inner peace and outer peace. One of the names of Hashem is Shalom, peace. So may we be rebuild this world with kindness, so that there's peace, and we make peace with everyone within ourselves and with all people. And may we be able to help each other in the ways possible without sacrificing ourselves. And may it be cozy and warm and soft, and even when it might seem like it's dry or wet or just basically cold and dark. All right, okay. Have a good Shabbos. Bye.